Okay, I want you to imagine a civilization that outnumbers us, humanity, 1.5 million times over. An empire that's been ruling this planet for more than 100 million years. And no, it's not human. This civilization is everywhere, right under our feet. So let's dive into the world of the planet's true silent rulers, the ants. Just look at this number for a second. That's 10 quadrillion, a 1 followed by 16 zeros. That's the best guess scientists have for how many ants are on Earth right now. It's a number so huge it almost breaks your brain trying to picture it.
And here's what's really wild about all those ants. If you put them all on a giant scale, their total weight, their biomass, is heavier than the entire human species was just 2,000 years ago. They are, and I mean this quite literally, a global heavyweight.
But this isn't just a story about mind-boggling numbers. It's about what those numbers have built. An alternate civilization that, in a lot of ways, looks surprisingly like our own. I mean, they're so far beyond simple hunting and gathering. We're talking about actual agriculture. Some species have their own mushroom farms. They do animal husbandry, herding little aphids like cattle to milk them for a sweet nectar. They have these incredibly complex social structures. They teach their young, they take care of their sick and elderly, and they even bury their dead.
And their whole society, every new colony, kicks off with this single, incredible event, the Nuptial Flight. It's the one and only time that certain ants will use their wings, leaving home in a massive swarm to mate high up in the air. It's equal parts beautiful and brutal.
And this just shows you the level of sacrifice involved. After they mate, the male's job is done, and he dies pretty quickly. But the queen, she lands, all alone, and does something absolutely unbelievable. She bites off her own wings. She will never, ever fly again. From that moment on, her only mission is to find a safe spot and build an entire new civilization all by herself. So, how does a colony of millions of individuals work together so perfectly? What's the secret sauce? Well, it's pheromones. It's this invisible language of chemicals that connects every single ant. It's their internet, their GPS, and their emergency alert system all rolled into one. And this chemical network is the key to their incredible success. It creates this kind of collective consciousness. But what happens when that perfect system, that flawless programming, breaks down? Because it turns out that perfect programming has a bug. A critical system error, one that can lead to an absolute catastrophe. It's called an ant mill, or a death circle, and it's as horrifying as it sounds. This is what happens when a group of ants gets confused and accidentally starts following its own pheromone trail. They get stuck in a feedback loop, marching in a circle, thinking they're on a mission, but they're just following each other to their deaths. And we're not talking about a tiny little thing. Back in 1921, a traveler witnessed a death circle that was over 300 meters wide. The ants marched in that fatal spiral for 2 solid days until they literally dropped dead from exhaustion. They are completely trapped by their own rules, unable to think their way out of it. It's a chilling sight. Ants behaving like zombies, marching mindlessly to their doom. And that comparison to zombies, it's about to get a whole lot more real. Because there's something else out there in the world, something that doesn't just make ants act like zombies. It turns them into actual, literal zombies. So I want you to meet Ophiocordyceps. You might know it as cordyceps. It's a parasitic fungus, and if ants have nightmares, this is what they're about. Getting infected by this thing is probably the most terrifying fate an ant can imagine. And here's how this horror story unfolds over about 10 days. A spore lands on the ant and starts growing inside it. It takes over its muscles, forcing the ant to abandon its colony, climb up a nearby plant, and lock its jaws onto a leaf in a death grip it can't release. And then the fungus bursts out of the ant's head to rain down more spores on the unsuspecting colony below. The most twisted part? The ant is alive for most of this process. So the big question is, how? How does a simple fungus pull off this level of mind control? It's seriously one of nature's most sophisticated and terrifying tricks. Now, the obvious answer, what everyone assumed for years, is that the fungus must be infecting the ant's brain, right? Turning it into a mindless puppet. But what if the truth is even more disturbing? Yeah, recent science shows the fungus doesn't touch the brain. At all. The ant's brain is perfectly fine, completely intact. The ant is a prisoner in its own body. It's aware of what's happening, but it's completely powerless to stop it. So here's the terrifying reality of it. The fungus weaves itself all through the ant's body, connecting directly to its muscle fibers. It just completely bypasses the brain. The fungus isn't the pilot, it's a puppeteer, physically pulling the strings of the ant's body and forcing it to move against its will. In its final days, the ant isn't really an ant anymore. It's just a living vehicle for the fungus. Its own tissues get replaced by fungal cells until the ant and its killer basically become one single horrifying organism whose only purpose is to spread the infection. All of this leads to this incredible paradox. On one hand, you have ants who have built one of the most successful and dominant empires this planet has ever seen. I mean, think about it. For over 100 million years, they were here before the dinosaurs were gone. And they're still here now, thriving in a global society that, in its sheer scale and complexity, absolutely rivals our own. But here's the ultimate tragic irony. Their greatest strengths, that incredible social bond, and that perfect chemical communication system, are the exact weaknesses the cordyceps fungus exploits to tear their world apart. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it? This story of the zombie ant fungus is this brutal, hidden masterpiece of evolution playing out all around us. What other invisible dramas, what other terrifying puppet masters are pulling the strings in the world right under our feet?